problem number 9. So there is a relationship between square roots and exponents. So the first thing that I want to remind you guys is that the square root of 3 is the same as this number here being 2, but we never write the 2 down, okay? So square root is like this. It's 3 to the first power, and we're taking the square root. Now, this number here, we call that the index, and we call this the power still. Okay? So one last thing I want to remind you guys of is that the square root of 3 is really like 3 raised to the 1 over 2. Okay? So now what I want to do is I want to change these two square roots of 3's to 3 to the 1/2 times 3 to the 1/2. Now plus 3, but 3 is actually 3 to the first power. Now what we would do is we would distribute this through the parentheses. So 3 to the 1/2 times 3 to the 1/2. You would just add the halves up, right? So this would be like 3 to the 1/2 plus 1/2. That's that first term. Plus 3 to the 1/2 plus 1. Oh yeah. Well, this is what I was doing, is boop, distributing it through the parentheses, right?
Yeah.
What did I forget to do?
Parentheses on
Oh, this? Oh, okay. You could say that. That's fine. All right, so what's 1/2 plus 1/2? 1. So 3 to the first power. And then now this is weird. We have 1/2 plus 1/2. But can I say this is the same as 2 over 2?
Yeah.
Right? If I wanted a common denominator, could I say 2 over 2?
Yeah.
So this would be like 3 plus 3 to the 3 over 2, right? Because 1/2 plus 2 over 2, in other words, if I add 1 plus 2, I get 3, and then the common denominator is 2. So now, this is where it gets a little tricky. 3 to the first power is just 3, plus, now here's what's weird. This is like the square root of something raised to the third power. So this is like the square root of 3 to the third power. Okay? Now, 3 to the third power is what? Well, let's rewrite it this way. Could I write it this way? Could I say the square root of 3 squared times 3?
27.
Well, hold on. It is 27, but I want you guys to see something. Is 3 squared times 3 the same as 3 to the third power? So now, can I write this as the square root of 3 squared and the square root of 3? Yeah, that's a property of exponents. I can do that. If you're a little confused, that's okay. We're going to do this a lot. Trust me, you can do that. So what's the square root of this? The square root of 3 squared is just 3. So I've got 3 plus 3 times the square root of 3. And this is our final answer. Now, I kind of purposely made that more complicated than it needed to be because I want you guys to get the extra practice with the exponents and see the relationship between the exponents and the square roots.